the day that I actually did? Because I wanted to leave work early. Haha. He had asked me to marry him 2 weeks after we first met and I said he was crazy. 4 months later, he moved in at some point. He'd been staying at my place a lot, so I count the day he moved his stereo to my place as the day he moved in. He'd asked that when I finally said yes, to make our wedding day an easy day to remember so years down the road he wouldn't forget our anniversary. So on Halloween, I'm at work at my factory job, practically in tears at how bored I was. So I called my supervisor over and asked if I got married today, could I leave early? She said yes. So later at a retired justice of the peace in the back of a paint store the justice owned, we said yes. Haha.
I got married on St. Patrick's Day for the same ease of remembrance. Plus I could do stupid shit like wear a green wedding dress and serve green beer and get married in my backyard. People are too weird about weddings nowadays, it's the marriage that's important, not the stupid ceremony. I married her because she has the same morals, and wanted the same things in life. But I fell in love with her the first time I saw her ice skate. We met on OkCupid. I messaged something like 8,000 women, and went on dates for 17 months. My wife put her profile up, and her inbox filled up an hour later. I was one of the people in that inbox. She's beautiful, had a great career, and most important to me, she's brilliant. We lived about an hour away from each other, and commuted back and forth until we moved in together in 2015.
We got married in 2016 and our son is about to turn 3, smiley face.
He's already sharp as a tack, and he has her smile. I feel like I wanted life. Oh my gosh, it's a long story, but I'll break it down as simple as possible in steps for the sake of easy reading on the eyes. Here goes. We went to the same high school, but I didn't know he existed. Vocational school, different weeks. I graduated and he never saw me again and was terribly upset that he couldn't get the courage to talk to me before I left. Fast forward to 5 years later, we ended up meeting because I had this idea to join the U.S. Air Force to pay for my dream of vet school. I studied every job possible for a year because I wanted to make sure I knew exactly what I was getting into. One day I had this massive and sudden urge that I had to join and go to the recruiter's office that day urgently. So, I signed up. I had just broken up with a non-serious relationship but loved his mom so much that I went by her house to visit her since I was in the area. I told her I was joining the Air Force and that I was nervous because I had no one to talk to about it since everyone I knew was a different branch. But guess who else was joining the U.S. Air Force at the same time, who lived across the street? My husband. She goes, "Oh, he's joining. You should talk to him about it." And I was like, oh yay. Someone who knows what to expect. So we decided to meet and grab food. Not supposed to be a date, as I had sworn off relationships for the next 6 years of my military contract. But when we met, everything changed. In the most divine way. It was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. We went to a restaurant to grab some food, because who doesn't love food, and the second we sat down in the booth we looked at each other and this instant and most random strong vibe / feeling / energy / no idea what to call it just hits me from within but also outside of me, and I literally heard a voice as if it was right next to my ear say, "He's the one," and it was the creepiest thing ever. I pinched myself under the table because I was like, what the actual F is happening right now? But somehow in the strangest way I knew that it was true. And in an instant I knew I was going to marry him someday. And he seemed to have that look in his eyes that felt the same. Like we knew we both felt whatever the hell just happened but didn't want to say it because that's weird when you first meet someone. Face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy, flush face. So, after meeting him, all of my military recruit stuff that was going so smoothly just all came to a halt and everything just stopped working out for my military stuff. The only thing I needed was an exam and a ship date the same day. But the Military Processing Center randomly came out with a notice that they were holding off on exams indefinitely. I was so upset as I had prepared myself to go through the hell of boot camp and all. If you knew me and I had told you I was joining the military, you'd laugh. But, I was thankful it didn't work out because I had just met the one, and if I had joined with a ship date we probably would have got shipped to different states or sides of the country. He left for basic training only 1 month after we met. He was in basic training and then schooling for 9 months. I visited once, but it was expensive to fly there. Then he came home and we decided to get married because being apart was terrible and we already both knew somehow that we were the ones for each other. That sounds so corny but true. Everyone called us crazy for getting married in 9 months with only spending a total of 1-ish months in person together. LOL, that is insane, but we just knew and we have been married ever since. Cute fun fact, I found out after we got married that when he saw me in high school he knew instantly I was the one and told his friends he was going to marry me someday and they all laughed about it. But here we are. How weird is that? Been together 11 years, married for 10 years. It has always felt so natural. No one is perfect, of course, and military life put us through lots of debates, but we respect each other when arguing and don't name-call or get crazy, which is really great. I have never had someone respect me in arguments before him. It makes such a difference. We don't have to worry about military life anymore, which is amazing. I feel like if we could make it through that, we can make it through anything. I guess love at first sight is a thing? I always wanted to believe it, but constantly found it to be a fallacy. Until I met him. I have been through hell and back with deep heartbreaks over the years, and I realized I must have had to go through the worst so that when the best for me came along, I knew how to truly appreciate him. I came from a marriage where people could tell immediately that we were not right for each other and that I was miserable. We were such a bad match, but jumped into marriage before we had time to really understand that. He wasn't a bad person, he just didn't understand anything about me or what made me tick. Now, I'm in a relationship where random people just walk up and tell us that we are a cute couple and that they can tell we are happy because we give off that vibe. We've been together 8 years total, so well past the honeymoon phase, and this still happens to us fairly regularly. Honestly, when I met him, I just intuitively knew that he was the right person for me and rolled with it. It wasn't work like my past relationships. There were no mind games or overthinking, no feeling smothered or pretending to be someone I wasn't. We just fell together into seamless merge of two lives where everyone was at the right place, at the right time, going the right speed, and everything just fell into place. We are each other's second marriage, so we knew exactly what we did and didn't want in a new relationship. From day one, we have always been totally honest and open with each other, and I've never felt like I had to mask any part of who I am when I'm with him. We were aligned on our expectations financially, morally, politically, and about the kind of life we want to have in the future. He makes me laugh, his presence makes me feel calm, not in a needy way, but in a easy everything is okay kind of way, and literally everyone I've ever introduced him to loves him. I think my family would divorce me and keep him if we ever sit up because they love him that much. We both bought each other pens and post-it notes for each other for our gifts our first Christmas together, totally unprompted, because we both have a thing about good pens and post-it notes. I'll just leave it at that.